Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. So I'm back here again for another review for The Gifted. Believe it or not, this time around I actually did do a reaction to Gifted. So that'll be probably up maybe tomorrow because I'm going to be basically posting it as maybe like a minute clip. Just kind of letting you guys know to refer to a link in the description bar, and then that way you can watch the whole entire reaction, this entirety through the Google Drive. So I just want to let you guys know that up front. But let's go ahead and get into this because this episode was actually a 2-hour long episode. It was actually 2 episodes in one. I think the name of it was Extraction and X-Rose. Now, I'll talk about both of them as a whole, but I will mention stuff from the different sections. Because the first section, first off, when the Strucker went go try to find the grandmother, and the fact that, the grandmother didn't know that the grandfather died. She didn't know anything about what happened. She mentioned a person by the last name of Risman, and the only Dr. Risman that I know of referred to, I think, the X-Men Evolution cartoon, that basically this person created X-23. Like, they went through different incarnations of actually trying to create X-23. And then eventually, I think in the comics, though, it was Sarah Kinney that they actually used for the comics. But either way, if they were referring to the same exact person, then it would make sense that Dr. Strucker would talk with somebody on that level about what they're trying to do from the dissection of evolution of X-Men or evolution of mutants and just a species standpoint. So I thought that was a really cool note. Then they showed the second part where, I know this is kind of spoilerish, but I just want to just gush about some stuff that happened. The fact that they never mentioned Magneto, never mentioned Eric Lyncher, but they did show Magneto's emblem that Polaris was just messing with when she was in the psychiatric ward. And I was like, this is all coming down to this. I knew that this was coming, I just didn't know how it was going to be brought up. Then, in the first half of this episode, it showed the kids, like, the brother and sister Strucker, like, how the fact that, you know, the boy, he's just like, look, we need to go and take a stand. We need to do this. He let those girls get in his head, those triplets, the Frost sisters, I call them. And, like, Lauren's just taking it as, like, this is my responsibility. I messed up. I got them killed, you know, trying to be defiant, trying to do this way. And none of it's right. And they are at odds with each other. They legit attacked each other. And I knew it was going to build up to how it ended. But it was just a lot going on. And then I felt so bad for Polaris because Polaris, like, all the time, I knew that she was coming to this resolve in her head and in her heart. But I was like, I hope she doesn't do what I think she's going to try to do. And it makes me think in my head, like, what is going to happen next? The other thing that happened, which we finally did get a interest involved on Dr. Campbell. Because you get to see, you know, how he got to the place he was. Even the episode even opened with showing him and his brothers dying, and just his animosity and the way that he even looks at, you know, mutants as this off-kilter race that the human race has to outsmart and be better than, to annihilate. And I was like, yo, this is skewed. This goes beyond racism. Like, this is dissociative, this issue, because you don't even represent who you are, and at the same exact time know, you know, what these people really are. And it was just like, he is sick. The dude was legit sick. So I thought I was really interested to finally get a bookmark on him. But it doesn't matter now, which I'll go into that a little bit later on. My man Jace leads a freaking group, a SWAT team, into the Underground's base. And I was liking how the mom and the daddy really are taken in with the Underground, like making themselves a part of the family and doing what they had to do to try to not just keep themselves in the point of, like, survival, but making sure everybody else was protected. I like how the dad, you know, finally was like, look, kids, do what you gotta do. You know, I was kind of just like, I couldn't believe when he even took them with them at all. But then, like, you know, when they went and got to missions to go get to the grandmother. But even when they let them go and was like, look, this is what we have to do as brother and sister. And I was just like, this is crazy. And then you finally get to see their power. The only thing I didn't like is he never got to actually see the aftermath. Like you get allusions to it, and we got allusions the entire season about the Struckers, like what, you know, the original Struckers were capable of, and never really getting to actually see it. And it was like, we got like the flash, we got to see the crumbling of everything, but we never got to really see the aftermath. And me personally, maybe that might be a CG thing or a budget thing, but, you know, I feel like you could have easily shown me the aftermath at least. But I guess that was, you know, maybe a budget issue. But either way, with Andy and Lauren, I think that they did a really interesting thing in the way that ended. It kind of was like, shoot, X-Men First Class meets The Last Jedi. And The Last Jedi, what I mean by that, well, never mind, I can't spoil it. But there's definitely something that happens towards the end when it comes to Marcos and Polaris and Lauren and her brother Andy. That really feels like The Last Jedi in a certain degree. Even the way that the villain is even kind of like, you know, handled in the end is definitely like The Last Jedi, which I actually really appreciated. I thought that my man Sean Teal, that plays the role of Marcos, and what's her name that plays Polaris? What is her name? I think it's Emma Dumont. They did some very well acted scenes. Like they just pour emotion. And like I felt the most for them than anybody. Like I was just like, dang. And it's all over the place. Like you get references to the Brotherhood, get references of Revolution, even the very end show that the fact that the season 2 been coming back, the mutant revolution that's coming. And it's just like it's all moving and pushing forward to how the comics are. Like everything that happened at the very end of the season, you might not like the decisions that they made, but it lines up with who the characters are in the comics, or at least certain segments in the characters' lives from the comics. Like it was all like exactly to the book. The problem that I really had, this is the only problem that I really have, and I gotta find these triplets' names, because it's not, I mean, it is the Frost sisters, but I wanted to find the actresses' names. I can't find it. But I had a problem. I've had a problem for the past 4 to 3 episodes with these triplets, the Emma Frost clone twins, or triplets, because, not because of how, like, yes, they are the anti-heroes, or the anti-villains, really, of this show, because they're the instigators that drove all this chaos to get their end resolve done, right? I get that. I get like how they fit into this. I just don't like them. And on top of the fact, I don't like the way that the show or the writers use them. Because this is the thing. I get, you know, alright, you're going to come to this resolve whether or not you want to be a part of the Brotherhood, you want to be a part of the X-Men, or what their ideals represent. That is evident from episode 1, that there was different sides of people's emotional intrigue about where this was going to go. I got that. The problem that I had was using these triplets as literally like putting everybody in chess pieces. So it's like, okay, you're going to go and continue to be like, oh, you should definitely do this. This is the right way. And you're like in the other side of the people that are make sense. And like, okay, you shouldn't do this. This is not going to lead the right way. Then other people are like, I need to be able to protect what's mine. I'm tired of getting run down. I'm tired of getting, like, basically built upon like a slave. You know, and it's like, these people, these 3 women, are the thing that are the driving force that pushes all these characters into their next station of what's going to happen next. I don't like that. Because I feel like the reality of it is they would have come to that resolve on their own. They would have eventually got to that place. And I would have, like, give me 2 seasons where they get to that point eventually. Like, you don't have to use some, you know, random powerful character as a, you know, a piece in a part of, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what to call it. they are the catalyst of the change, and it shouldn't be them. The change should have been that this is something that naturally progresses based on what happens in this show, based on how the characters live. It would have happened anyway. And instead, it's kind of like, it feels kind of like tainted because they're the reasons why Polaris did this. They're the reasons why Strucker Kids did this. They're the reason why this people got killed. They're the reason why this happened. And it's like, I don't want that. Like, I want them to finally say, this is how I got to this, and this is why. Now, I did get an interesting moment with Polaris eventually, and she was able to make a stand and tell them, like, look, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because of me. As well as even with Lauren, made her own position about where she stands, and knowing full well what these triplets are saying makes sense, and contrary to what Andy was thinking. It's just I was like, man, nah, man. Like, I don't want them to be the deciding factor. I want it to actually make sense. So that's just my thoughts. But all around, as a 2-hour like finale for the first season, it ended on such a dope note, man. Like, I was really caught off guard, surprised. I actually really like this season finale more than I did the Runaways, and I thought the Runaways has been a great season, but as far as the season finale, this is way better season finale. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I would give it a 10, but only because I was thinking that they were at least gonna mention certain name, just Magneto once. And I know that's like nitpicking, but really it's a combination of other things. But that was one thing I was like, come on, just give it to me, or at least show me how the Strucker Kids really, like, show me the aftermath of their destruction. Like, why is it that these triplets are still in the mix? Why are y'all letting them push y'all like this way or that? But we'll see. We'll see how this is all gonna end. One way or another, change is coming. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that review. Remember, I am gonna be uploading my reaction a little bit later on, probably tomorrow. And keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Y'all have a blessed night, blessed evening, blessed day. And don't forget, I think Flash comes back tomorrow. Supergirl came back today. Peace, guys.